Hi all. UGC has notified 2022 PhD regulations. Already issued a draft regulation which received a suggestion from various stakeholders, and now it is finalized and notified the new regulations on 7th November 2022. So the regulations, let us see what are the major points, what are the changes coming in to the new regulations. The regulations named as University Grants Commission Minimum Standards and Procedure for the award of PhD degree regulations 2022. And the applicability of the regulation is to all universities. And the date of effect is 7th November 2022. So according to this regulation, the eligibility for admission, there are some changes because on the basis of NEP 2020, there are new era programs like 4-year graduation, 1-year PG, etc. already started in some universities. So in that background, the eligibility conditions for PhD admission: 1 year, 2 semester PG after 4 years or 8 semester graduation with 55%, 2 year or 4 semester PG, the conventional PG, also with 50% mark, then 4 year or 8 semester graduation with 75% mark, MPhil with 55%. So these are the eligibility basic for PhD program, and naturally there will be a relaxation of 5% of mark for SC, ST, OBC, non-creamy layer, differently able and EWS categories. And regarding the duration of the program, the regulation set a minimum 3 years including coursework. So a scholar can complete PhD program by 3 years including coursework and a maximum period of 6 years. And there shall be a provision of 2 years maximum additional time through a process of re-registration. Uh, and altogether, the entire duration shall not exceed the period of 8 years. Then, with respect to female scholars and person with disabilities, additional 2 years also can be taken, but the entire period shall not exceed 10 years. Then there shall be a provision for maternity or childcare leave of 240 days for female scholars. Then, with respect to admission procedure, in the draft regulation, it was mentioned that there shall be a division of total PhD seats in a university in a 60-40 manner, but which is omitted in the final regulation. So it mentioned as the universities and institutions can admit students, qualify national level eligibility test, uh, and conduct an interview of such qualified students, and universities can conduct entrance test and interview for students those who are not qualified in national level testing. And in such kind of testing, there shall be 70% weightage for the written test and 30% weightage for the interview. And regarding research supervisor, the most of the existing conditions remain as such. The As in the case of 2016 regulation, but it is clearly stated in this regulation that only a permanent regular teacher can act as a research supervisor. And it is also clearly mentioned that a faculty after superannuation shall not act as a supervisor, only as a co-supervisor. And an addition to this clause, a faculty with less than 3 years for superannuation shall not permit to take new scholars. So the minimum 3-year service for a supervising teacher shall be there to take new scholar. That's an additional clause, and there is some clarity in that aspect as well. Because in many institutions and universities, teachers even after retirement continue as supervising teacher. That's why on that background UGC has made it clear. And teacher can continue till the completion of the existing scholars even within that last 3 years as co-guide after superannuation. That also made clear. And in addition, and with respect to the number of scholars, a faculty member, a professor, associate professor, and assistant professor can supervise also remain unchanged 8, 6, and 4, including co-guidance. It is mentioned in the regulation as such. And in addition to that, 2 international students can be supervised. Then regarding coursework, minimum of 12 credits as in the existing regulation, including research and publication ethics. And in that case, in the case of coursework, it is the regulation provided an opportunity to complete the coursework by undergoing online courses approved by UGC. Universities and institutions can decide whether they can permit it or not. Then an additional aspect as a part of coursework or for the entire PhD program, all scholars shall be trained in teaching or education or in pedagogy and writing related to their subject area. So there shall be a compulsory component as a part of the PhD program. There shall be some training given to PhD scholars in teaching as well, and a weekly 4 to 6 hours of teaching bar research assistantship for tutorial lab work and evaluation also is included in the new regulation. And there was one provision for MPhil scholars in the last regulation that those who are having MPhil and they continue research in the same area, they shall be exempted from coursework. Such kind of a mention is not in this present regulation. And in order to qualify the coursework examinations, a student have to score at least 55% mark. Then some other important points such as the with respect to evaluation and all, the open defense may be conducted online. That's another mention in the regulation. And the entire evaluation process, because there are so many complaints that delaying in the result or declaration of result of PhD evaluation, viva, etc. So entire evaluation process include from the submission of the thesis to declaration of result of viva OC shall be completed within 6 months. And higher education institutions shall not offer MPhil and no need of paper publication. There was a mandatory requirement for a PhD is a publication of one paper in the last regulation, which we know that already the UGC chairman detailed about that. So that is omitted in the new regulation. So that's all about the new PhD regulation major points. Thanks for watching. Thank you all.